our cost of living is majorly affected by property prices. So when property prices starts to rise, our rent increases, businesses will pass on this cost to the consumers, which is us as well, inevitably rising prices all across the board, which increases the cost of living. And I would assume that most of us would want cost of living to go down. Government even tries to get votes by assuring us that cost of living will go down if they were to tackle inflation, wars, or every other factor other than talking about property prices. And even if they do, they are lying to you because the government has no incentive to even lower down property prices. In fact, they want property prices to rise. And can we really blame them for it? Because every individual property owner wants property prices to be sold at a highest price than they bought it at. In fact, some of them will want to sell it at the highest possible price, which is what every property owner wants, right? Which is profit. And the thing is that we see here that there's actually a mutual benefit in increasing the property prices, right? So home ownership for younger generations, I would say, is getting more and more out of reach, especially with mortgages extending over 30 and even in talks of increasing it to 50 years or how many years they want to increase it by. And that's the thing, right? Our basically our retirement has been linked to our property net worth. Our whole entire net worth and retirement, everything has been linked to property. So naturally, all of us think is that if property prices starts to rise, oh, we are getting richer, right? For example, if the homeowner were to purchase a house at 15,000, right? Maybe 20 years later, it becomes $3 million. In the mindset of the property owner, right, he would think that, whoa, now I'm rich because I'm worth $3 million. But the thing is that you will still have to eventually sell the house and buy another property, which if it's of equal value, it would be 3 million as well. And the only way to unlock this capital that you have is to either downsize to a smaller house or live on the streets, right? So who is actually the real winner here? It's certainly not this homeowners who owns one property. It's actually the people who own multiple properties, which is most of the time corporations, right? Or private equity buying up all these houses. When you have multiple properties and all these properties starts to rise in valuations, and when you are able to own multiple of it, that is when you actually have a lot of profits coming in. And you actually have a lot of incentive to make property prices rise even more than it should. Right? So these are the people actually in a way benefiting from and the real winner of this. But we also see here that not only the individual themselves linking their retirement and net worth to the property, we're also seeing how these property prices are also linked to the economy, right? We see in China where property bubble has burst, so nobody wants property anymore because they started building so many property at a rapid pace, increasing the economy of China. And when this bubble starts to pop, everything goes down. And we would assume that probably this is just a China thing, like it only affects one country, but real estate affects every individual all around the world, right? Is a thing that's affecting every individual. And homeownership has been getting out of hand, out of reach for all the younger generations. And the thing is, how do you even reach to the state of having to take up an entire lifetime of years worth of your life just to pay back this home, right? If you think about it, the only winners here are the people owning multiple properties, right? Whether it helps your economy or not, these are all rubbish, right? We know that the economy doesn't make sense. Even if the economy rises, the individual, it does not take account into the individual happiness or whatsoever. So it doesn't really mean much. But on a profit perspective, corporations are the ones that benefits most from this. And that's the thing, right? How did we let go of this control of our lives, right? If I would say property should be a basic necessity, It should be a human right, because shelter is something that every human should have, right? At least I hope most of us would have the same views. If you do not, then it's fine, but that's my own personal take on it. But the thing is that, how did it end up that a basic human right takes up the whole entire human lifetime to repay it, right? Mortgages is going up at 38 years and even increasing, maybe they're 50 years. And who knows, by the time maybe another 3 more years, they might increase it to 70 years, or no matter how many years. But you get what I mean. We are spending our entire lifetime trying to repay back a loan that we can never repay. And we are reaching to a point where it's seriously absurd. It's so out of reach for younger generations that most of us just give up, right? It's causing hopelessness in the younger generations. I do feel it as well, because I am the younger generation. And I don't want this video to be so pessimistic, but that is literally how our life is going into. It used to be one income was able to buy a house, right? Within 1 year, we were able to basically pay it off, right? 3 years, 5 years, we'll be able to pay it off. But the years keeps increasing, and it keeps increasing to an abnormal rate. And we are literally being slaves. We are paying back this bond, this basically a money debt. We are paying it to corporations, basically, or people who own multiple property, right? Homes are no longer a place for you to stay, but an investment, right? People has no longer viewed homes as a place to stay. It has become an investment. It has become a retirement nest. And the thing is that our retirement has been, or our property has been viewed as a retirement nest. And I think that's where the issue has gone terribly wrong, right? That's where we have, I guess, shifted in our priorities, and it just doesn't make sense to me, right? How can you let property be a retirement asset? Because like what I said, right, when it's time to sell the asset, you have to buy another. So even if it goes up to 500 million, it doesn't mean jack shit, because you will still have to buy a property that is worth 500 million, right? Unless you live on the streets, or you you downsize to a smaller property. There's really no point to it. So homeowners increase property prices and start to cheer, but you're cheering for your own downfall. And this video is probably like a bit too late, because the damage has been done, right? The damage has been done. Majority of the houses are being picked up by corporations, rich people buying off everything. And what can we do next, right? For the younger generation, what can we do next? Stay with our parents until we are 50 years old, right? A lot of younger people now are staying with their parents up until 30 years old, right? And even higher. And most of us are being seen as a failure for staying with our parents. But the thing is that, if everyone or majority of the people are staying with their parents, is that an individual fault, or is that a systematic fault, right? So I think unless our priorities start to shift in terms of how our retirement should be viewed as, property prices will only keep on increasing, and the only real winners here will be people with multiple properties, which is not majority of the population. And by that, it means the richer can only get richer, and the poorer would get poorer, increasing the wealth inequality. And this is the only thing that will keep on going and going and going. Normal regular people will start living in smaller and smaller apartments, most homeless, and it will only stretch until it can stretch. And we might assume, the thing is that I would assume that a revolution would happen, right? Humans would not be able to take this abuse. But if you take a look at third world countries, right? Take a look at maybe Dubai. You see the riches here, but have you seen the slums? Right? If you take a look at Philippines, have you seen the slums that they're living in? These are the conditions that people are living in and are willing to take without starting a revolution. This is how far things can go. And we are seeing even worse things that are going on. Right? If you take a look, try to take a look at videos showing how is it like living in these conditions. They are willing to take this abuse, and by that means is that the line is already there. So the people on top, they know where to push the lines. So this can only happen more and more and more. We haven't even reached to a revolution stage. So to me, I would think that we will actually start to revolt once we see ourselves living in conditions that are horrible. But at the same time, seeing people living in the conditions that I have described and still not starting a revolution really makes me think whether I am correct in this prediction. But of course, anything can happen. Um, Kind of sad to say that, yep, this is probably a pessimistic video. But yeah, unless we start to view our retirement asset as something else rather than a home, we would always lose out in this property price war or something. So anyways, yeah, thanks for listening to my thoughts and see you guys in the next video. Thank you.